You just tuned in to Up for Discussion.
All right. Check that out.
Is there anybody out there? Someone I can trust.
Are we going? Oh, yeah. We're good, man. We did it. We did it.
That was my late 80s contemporary Christian music there.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah. Is there anybody out there? I think
yeah.
that was Michael W. Smith, wasn't it? Someone I can trust. Hey, we're so glad if you get on with us. Say hello, like, share, comment. This episode is brought to you by H2O because it is hot.
Yes. Drink plenty of it.
Drink plenty of it.
Yeah.
No, for real though, this episode brought to you by Ultra Products right here in Fairfield, Illinois, with a litany of archery equipment and stuff, accessories,
plethora.
bows, Bowtech, Matthews,
Darton,
PSE.
Did we say Matthews?
Matthews. We said it 3 times now.
It's worthy of 4.
Yeah, we can restring it, retime it, rebuild it.
Oh, yeah. Tune you up, get you shooting straight.
Arrows, broadheads. What else we got? Sights, releases,
crossbows,
targets, and all the time more comes in. So
bow fishing
equipment.
Stuff. Yeah.
So that all being said, this episode is brought to you by Ultra Products and Icon Foam and Gutter.
They're second to none.
Second to none. If your roof is bearing down on you today because of the heat, you might need a little foam insulation in that attic.
You know it.
And it'll knock the edge off.
Yep.
Or it will rain again, we know. And you're liable to need some new gutters. You said you got the phone number?
Yeah, I do.
To
I have
call
the phone number right here. Yeah.
Icon Foam and Gutter
at 618-926. That's 1481. 1481. 1481.
Call them for all your insulation and water maneuvering needs.
Yes.
Gutters, that is.
There it is. It's scrolling across the screen right now.
Awesome blossom. Well,
okay.
We are once again without our chief and commander,
technical wizard,
the great Wesley Hutchcraft.
No doubt.
Still probably laying on a beach somewhere, eating shrimp and bacon.
I bet he's got a good tan by now.
Wonder if he's got any bubbles on him anywhere.
I bet he does.
Wes,
that's a different kind of sun down there. It's hot. Chime in, Wes.
Chime in on the comments. Are you burnt? Are you red? Are you a nice golden brown?
I bet he is by now. He's been down there a little bit, so I bet he's
acclimating. Well, anyway, he's not with us. It's
kissed
me and
by
Josh
the sun
again. And if you don't know it, I'm technologically challenged. Josh, not so much. You do a fine job of getting this stuff going.
I'm a round peg.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
It means I fit in anywhere.
You can put a round peg in a square hole, can't you?
You can.
But it sometimes don't, it's a little sloppy.
It'll go in there. It's not meant, and it won't stay there, but it will go in there.
On the beach now, he said.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. Enjoy that, man.
I'm not a beach bum.
I can. Yeah, especially like the evening down there.
Man, a few minutes out there, and I don't know. I'm ready to move on.
My wife, she would I'm just going to live my life right here.
Right here on the white sand.
Right here. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like, just real quick, since we're talking about the beach, I like beach combing. Real early in the morning.
I got a little treasure hunter in me, so I do like to...
man, I should have brought it.
I do like to dig around for treasure, so to speak.
We do. If I get to do a not up for discussion again, I'll bring a little kiss from the Lord that I found combing that for real. I found combing the beach.
You.
Oh yeah, it was good. Yeah, I like it in the morning, like first thing in the morning. Waves are crashing. Not everybody's out there. You just kind of.
Wes said he looks like a lobster.
I bet he does.
I want to up the what is it? The SPF.
The SPF.
The SPF. I want to up the SPF.
50 plus. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, here's what we're going to do this evening, and we would love for people to chime in for. I'd say forever since archery was birthed, and we don't know when. But I would say forever in the archery world, people have argued several things, But one of the age-old arguments in today's time that has made it into today's time and has been pretty prevalent in the last couple years. It's always been a thing, but it seems like several different personalities have really brought it to the forefront.
Yeah.
And we thought, why don't we just dive into the middle of this pond and see if there's any water up in it?
There's plenty of water here. There's a lot to talk about.
And it's, if you read what did we title it? I forget now.
We titled this one The Great Debate.
The Great Debate. The age-old debate, especially in the hunting world.
Yeah.
Probably more so than any other in archery as a whole, but in the hunting part of archery is heavy, light, bigger shaft, smaller shaft,
length, even too, FOC.
Yeah,
there's a lot to go in.
So we go into heavier broadheads, lighter broadheads / fixed blade.
Spine too. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. We can
fix. Yeah, it's a deep hole to dive down.
Break down this whole thing.
Fixed blades versus
mechanical
broadheads
versus hybrid.
Yeah, there is hybrids now. There's also, if you really get technical, and golly gee,
what we got here? We got like biface. Biface.
I don't know if I grabbed some, but now there's even solid machine fixed, and then fixed broadheads that go together in pieces.
Yeah.
That being said, like the blades come off of them.
Oh yeah,
you can replace the blades, you can replace the points. But see, now there's even a push, like we got to get away from that. You need to be shooting a solid one-piece fixed heads, you know, machined out of one chunk of steel with a single bevel on there at about 32 degrees, you know, with a FOC of 6, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's
really
all
get
that
over
stuff.
Some guys' heads.
Yeah, there's
quick.
all that stuff, and some of you may have watched some of it.
And I can just say something right now. We could just, and none of that's going to matter if your bow's not tuned, and if your arrow's not tuned.
Yeah, and there's elements that play into this whole game. It is I call it a game, and I love to play the game.
Oh, that's not for me.
Whose phone is that?
I don't know. Well, Ultra Products, they closed at 6, so
I think that is the shop phone ringing. We apologize about that. It wouldn't be a golly gee.
Gosh.
It wouldn't be a
look, Wes, he's been metal detected the last few days. He's up over $2.
Well, how about that? A little treasure hunting going on.
Hey, go buy your old lady a soda pop for $2, man.
If you find that big diamond ring.
Oh man.
That's a game changer down there.
There's some stuff down there washing up on the beaches.
Maybe you'll find a doubloon.
Yeah. Like a whole chest full of gold coins.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Probably not going to on the beaches that he's on, but
if you do, just lay on top of it. Call us. We will drive through the night.
Don't move. Don't leave it.
High tide, just be out there with the snorkel.
Yeah, you know the Bible, the guy in the Bible when he found the treasure in the field and he left it and sold all he had. Don't even leave it, man. Just stay with it.
Stay with it.
Give us a call.
Just snorkel out there, just standing on it when the tide goes up. Just
drive a stake deep next to it. So when the shifting sands. Anyway, we gotta get back on topic. We hope you're finding some great treasure wherever you're at in the world, people.
Oh, Wes is a great treasure.
Yeah,
wherever he's at, man. Anybody who's running into him is encountering some treasure.
So we're back to this. I'm gonna make a prediction. By the time I'm done with this great debate, I will be right on all points.
I would agree to disagree with that statement.
You would?
I would, because I'm getting to know you here a little bit. I feel like I know a little bit where you stand on some things. You're not settled completely. I feel like I'm just going to wait.
I dropped that in because I'll probably end with a real generic thing. But
well, yeah. So we'll save that for the end.
So anyway, let's
Wes found Jimmy Hoffa.
Might want to call the authorities on that one.
No doubt. I'll just call them and run. Don't stay there.
Yeah.
You don't want to get drugged through that mud.
Yeah. But so let's where do you want to start? Arrows, heavy, light, big diameter, small diameter, grains per inch. We're going to say a lot of things, and let's do this for people because we may say a lot of words and abbreviations that people don't understand.
Yeah.
So let's make sure we explain
Some
those.
bow jargon, archery
Yeah,
jargon.
let me just talk about some real quick to help some people. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So grain or GPI, you'll hear people's like, hey. And people get intimidated when they come in a bow shop and a bow shop guy or a bow tech starts ripping out these terminologies that they don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and I try not to be that. I may have been that on accident. If I was, I'm sorry if I've ever done that to you. But
well, you're not doing it on purpose.
So if you hear a guy say, what is the GPI of your arrow?
Is that a question for me?
No, I'm making a statement.
Okay,
but I can answer it. Answer
that
it.
would be grains per inch.
Grains per inch. So every inch of this arrow, how many grains? If you cut off an inch of this arrow,
which a grain is a weight measurement.
It was a weight measurement, and it should. You know, if the arrow, some of them say right on it. Some of them you have to do a little research to find it. This day 6 arrow, which is actually a customer's arrow he brought in, I refletched it for him. Ain't
that's
that pretty?
Nice. That is pretty. Like the blue and the gray.
Max veins on
those
really
are nice
sharp
veins.
But these are day 6 arrows, which is known to be a heavier shaft. So it says right on it, these are 11.8 GPI.
That's a heavy arrow.
It's a heavy arrow.
What's the spine? We need to break that down too real quick.
We will, but let's stick with okay. GPI, grains per inch. So if I cut out an inch of this arrow, exactly an inch, and put it on a little scale, it should weigh 11.8 inches.
That's correct.
That's your GPI. So if you hear somebody say that, so we're going to cover, and we won't cover them all, but let's cover some real quick terminologies, maybe educate a few people. GPI, grains per inch, weight. How much weight is in each inch of this? So you can figure up, before, if you know that before you're cutting down arrows and stuff.
It helps you cut them down.
You can be like, well, I'm probably going to cut around, say 28. So I know the naked arrow is going to weigh this because of grains per inch. Now, spine.
Hold on. I was going to say, and things have changed because back in the day, guys used to run lots of overdraws, and they used to super short arrows,
right,
and pull that arrow way past riser,
right.
And things have changed now. They've started to, the more weight, you're trying to find that happy medium of, you want weight in your arrow, so cutting it all the way.
That's the great debate.
Yeah, I guess it is. Well,
that's the great debate, because one guy's going to look at 11.8 GPI and be like, far too heavy for me.
Well, what's he doing?
And the next guy is going to, the debate is superseding what people are doing.
I mean, are we punching holes in?
The debate out there is superseding what people are doing because yes, you still have to be mindful. What am I hunting? But there's guys out there now preaching that you need, 650 grains, 600 grains, give or take, even for whitetail hunting. And then the next guy is going to say that's ludicrous.
That's crazy.
And there lies
the great debate.
So GPI, let's cover these as quick as we can and go on. GPI, grains per inch. This one's rather heavy. A lot of them will come in at 8 point something to 9. A lot of your hunting arrows today are there. This one's 11.
Depending on the spine.
So it's a little heavy, a little heavier. Then you got to talk about spine. Spine is the stiffness rating of the arrow. So if you don't realize it, when you shoot an arrow, it leaves your bow doing this.
It does
I mean, if you could watch it in hyper slow motion, super slow motion, it's wiggling as it leaves the bow.
She's got a wrinkle in her.
So you don't want to over wiggle it. You don't want to under wiggle it. That's kind of how that goes. So like this arrow here that I've kind of been dancing around shooting this year is a Black Eagle Rampage. It's a 250 spine.
Which is a heavy spine.
So people come in and you hear say, you hear me or Josh or Wes or somebody ask the question, what spine is your arrow?
Yeah.
What spine is your arrow?
Are you overspined or underspined?
Yeah. And they're like, well, some people are like, I don't know, you know, and some people may be like, well, I know it says I'm a 300 spine right here, but I don't know what that means. So get this. There is some
There's some math to it.
Well, there's a system out there,
Mhm.
and there is some arrows that maybe still don't fully follow that system. There's still a spine, but the way they measure that system. Right now, most of your common arrows, Eastons, Black Eagles, Gold Tips, what's another one?
Victories. Yeah.
Victories. Most of your most common arrows are going to use this system. And it is like, this is a 250 spine. You'll see 300s. You'll see 350s. You'll
400,
see 400s.
500.
You'll see certain numbers in Eastons and Gold Tips like 340, you know.
Yeah, they kind of have their own.
Yeah.
Their own brand.
Basically, you're looking at a 350 spine arrow. But anyhow,
Yeah.
the lower that number,
Mm-hmm.
the stiffer the arrow.
That's correct.
So why would, like, I'm going to probably shoot this if I stick with Machine Extreme.
Because why?
Because I have 80-pound limbs and it's driving an arrow really hard. And for that setup, you need a stiffer arrow.
The amount of energy transferred to that arrow.
So to the point, like, you know, many people are either over or under spine and they don't realize it.
I think you're safer being overspined.
Sure, because you're not looking at an arrow failure.
And can we talk about that, like your poundage of your bow, what that's?
Yeah. So obviously, if I've got my 82-pound bow in there,
Mm-hmm.
I love it that we go ahead and put those 2 pounds on there. Yeah.
Well,
80 pound.
because it makes a difference, because it's not 80.
Excuse me, but the 80-pound bow, obviously is pushing harder. But if say I put a 400 in there, which is a very not near as stiff as this 250. What's he asking?
He's just chiming in
Oh,
with
okay.
some information here.
Okay. But like if I'm shooting a way dangerously underspined arrow out of a fast, heavy poundage bow, you can push that arrow to the point of catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
Like it can bend past what it can handle when it's leaving the shaft, and it can be dangerous.
Well, and that's why it's a heavier, it strengthens it. This is what Wes is saying.
So the
lower the number, the stronger,
stiffer. You know, there's arrow companies out there now that's got stiffer spines with still a semi-low GPI,
technology.
You know, different technology. They're trying not to get crazy weight, but still have a stiffer spine. But yes, technically, to get a stiffer spine, you got to put more carbon and
more material
more material,
thicker
in this
wall
to stiffen it up. So that being said, you know, and here's what I was getting ready to say. This is a big deal because in the tuning world,
yes.
I've had people come in, and I think of one instance, he's like, I can't get this bow to shoot. He said,
I keep tearing.
You know, he wasn't paper tuning. He's like, it just don't seem like it's shooting.
I got arrows all over the place.
I started checking him, you know, through paper. Well, he's got pretty ornery tear. Started playing with his arrows and could not get it to tune. And I knew with his speed poundage, he was setting right on the edge of being underspined.
Where was he at? Yeah. If I may ask.
I think he had a 350 spine.
Yeah.
His issue was he was a very long draw person, like a 31-inch draw guy.
What was he shooting, like 70?
Shooting 70 pounds.
But at 31 inches. So.
Yeah. So obviously the longer the arrow, the more flex it has in it. You know, you know, you can take a 300 spine. If this was my arrow out of my 80-pound bow and I could lop off, you know, 6 or 7 inches of this,
if we had an overdraw,
I could probably send a 300 spine out of my bow, and not because I'm trying to flex. Now I'm trying to flex something way shorter.
Don't have as much material.
You can also change. People don't realize that spine is a measurement but it changes with length and weight of the point.
Yes.
So if I put, like last year, I was shooting a 250 spined carnivore. Oh, I didn't bring one. I thought I had one. Black Eagle carnivore. When I put 80-pound and I was shooting 150 grain broadhead last year. And then I came back from elk hunting. I put 80-pound limbs on, and that same arrow would not tune with the 150 grain point on it. Or I shouldn't say it would never tune, but I was fighting it.
It was difficult to
I was fighting it. So I went up in poundage. My point was 150. I'm over flexing because there's a bunch of weight up here, and it's going to affect how much this arrow flexes, how much weight's here. So I changed to 125, and whammo, I come out with a perfect tune.
Straightened it right out.
Yeah. So I wasn't breaking down the spine. So that's kind of, I don't know if that's a word salad for most people, but spine, at the end of the day, remember this, is the stiffness of the arrow.
Yep.
The lower the number, unless you got some arrow that's playing outside of the box, the lower the number, the stiffer the arrow. Is there any other jargon on an arrow that people, I'd say inserts, because there's inserts,
outserts,
there's outserts, half outserts.
FOC. You're holding this perfect for an FOC shot here.
Yeah.
Too. So,
okay, let's go to FOC.
Which is front of center.
Yeah, front of center. That's another abbreviation. What is front of center? Wherever the center of this shaft is, once we throw an insert on it and weight up forward in a field point or a broadhead, it is where that arrow balances.
So the balance
and
point
the measurement from the center of the arrow is your percentage. You'll hear guys say, well, I've got 25%, I've got 16% or whatever of FOC. Here's what we know, and this is in part of the great debate.
This is important.
FOC, nobody talked about FOC for years, and in the last 20 years, it's like a hot topic. So FOC is front of center. It's, if you'll see, I'm way closer to the tip, balancing this arrow on my finger, than I am to the back. Now, this we know, front of center is a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't have the data to tell you that way, way, way front of center is a better thing or a worser thing.
But it's for accuracy.
And I said, listen, a better or a worser thing. I don't know. I do know this. Everybody that remembers yard darts knows that front of center helps accuracy.
Where is the weight?
Because when you threw a yard dart, remember they were real loaded in the front?
Yeah, you want
and the rear end would follow naturally.
There you go.
The front.
That's what this is about.
So when you get your FOC, you wouldn't want, and Doug, if Doug's watching, I don't know if he's chimed in, but Doug ran into this. He was trying to speed up an arrow for an archery shoot, a 3D shoot, and he kept dropping point weight. And then he got to the place where his front of center was so almost non-existent.
Yeah, where he was rear of center.
That he was getting really weird planing arrows, like doing some funky stuff.
The tail's trying to lead.
So he literally just moved back up in point weight.
20 grains.
And it wasn't much, 20, 25 grains. And all of a sudden, he's like, I'm back.
Driving darts.
So you can't say that front of center doesn't have some importance.
Well,
now, how far front of center is too much or not enough and all that, I can't tell you. I don't have all the numbers.
Yeah,
I believe in it. Obviously, Doug proved it.
Well, it's a proven fact. I mean, if you're shooting this if you're shooting this arrow out of a bow, I mean, this is the leading edge here. And so wherever it goes, that tail's going to follow.
It wants to follow.
And so
and naturally when the forward of center is forward of center, the rear end wants to get in behind,
and it'll align itself and it'll be a more accurate shot.
Man, did I age myself with yard darts? Did you ever play yard darts?
I ran from yard darts. I don't know if I played yard darts. I ran in fear from yard darts.
If you were ever stuck in a game of yard darts, I think they totally actually made them illegal, didn't they?
I don't know.
Because so many kids came to the emergency room with them stuck in them.
Shot out of them. And
it's like, whoever dreamed that up, it's like, hey, let's make a game where you can put kids on each side of the yard, put a big vinyl circle on the ground, and sling a sharp, pointy thing that weighs about enough to
They're
impale
heavy.
you.
Yeah, they're heavy.
All the way across the
That's a
yard. at
different
each other.
generation. Way stronger.
They were tougher back then, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
It's like we.
Yeah, you just rub salt in it and
Yeah.
got up. That's it.
Yeah, your grandpa will get that. All of our grandpas always had this special jar of salve. They didn't have no name for it other than salve.
My grandpa didn't have no salve. He said, boy.
Diesel. He'd dip it in diesel. My grandpa wanted to dip my finger in diesel one time. I said, Grandpa, I don't want to put my finger in diesel. I got a big cut on
I
it.
got a quick one. My grandma one time, I split my wig. I mean, it was just like, I was bleeding out, man. And my grandma was like, just butterfly it. He's good,
Yeah.
And
Put him back together.
yeah, she just stick a little, stop the bleeding. He's good.
They'd
And she was right.
They'd always tell us it's too far from our heart to kill
Yeah,
us.
she was like, Grandma knew. She's like, oh, that boy, he'll live,
So, right, that's how I don't know if that's the way it is out there
A
now,
little tougher.
but it seems like that's the way it was then. So anyway, front of center. So if you hear someone say, hey, what's your FOC? You're probably going to say, I don't even know what my FOC is, and I don't care. All I know is I'll pull it back
And I'll
let it go, and it goes down there and sticks where I want it. And that's really, here's the deal. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. It's got to stick where you want it to stick.
But I wanted, honestly, I was pretty ignorant. And I'm using this word, right? It's just in context, because ignorant means you just don't know.
Unlearned.
Yeah, I'm just unlearned. I didn't know. And there was I knew to paper tune my rest, but I didn't know much about tuning arrows until I met you guys.
Yeah.
And I did not realize the significance that plays.
Yeah,
it is a tremendous difference. I mean, you're anybody out there that is struggling with groups and is consistently shooting and is like, man, why can't I wad these arrows together? And more than likely, I'm not saying this is your problem, but if you have not tuned either your rest or your arrows, that's probably a good place to start. Or
I mean, people had, and I've gotten by before I had an understanding of it.
Yeah,
I got by without doing a lot of those things, and you can do it.
Oh,
you can do it. And here's the deal. Like I said, just saying, if it's hitting where you're aiming,
you're doing good.
That's good. If you screw your a broadhead on and it falls apart like $1 watch.
Yeah. If you're like, why can't I not? Why do I keep shooting back on these?
It can be a number of things, and a lot of times it can be the arrow
improper tuning
is not tuned. Yeah. The bow's not tuned
to the arrow, or the arrow's not tuned to the bow. That's probably more
right. It's kind of
correct.
Half
language.
A dozen one, 6 the other, but same thing. So yeah, back to that story. So that individual was like, man, I got 2 dozen of these arrows. I was like, man, I hate to tell you, if I could maybe cut some off of them.
Yeah.
But he was already there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, just for giggles, we're a bow shop. We've got arrows. I said, let me grab what I say. I think he had 350s. I said, let me grab a 300. Let's put what grain broadhead, what weight shooting? Broadhead do you want to shoot? He's like, well, I've got 125s. I said, so let's put a 125 on there and see what we can get this to do. And I mean, whammo.
Strained him right out.
Just bullet hole after bullet hole for me, bullet hole for him through paper.
Made a believer.
And you go out and start shooting the target. And the next time I see him, he's like, oh man, it's like a different machine,
Oh man, Wes
snorting in the microphone.
Snorting in the microphone. You got me.
He's been on the beach far too long.
Come home. We need your help.
The sun is
it's frying his brain.
It's penetrating the cranium, the dome.
UV rays. You need to wear a hat, buddy. Yeah. Wear a hat.
Do you have a straw hat on, my friend? So we got to get to this debate.
Yeah.
Oh, so FOC, spine, GPI, grains per inch, stiffness of arrow.
Yeah. And we were going to know.
Front of center. And real quick, there's inserts. Inserts go totally inside the shaft.
Yep.
There's outserts. They go over the outside of the shaft, much like what you can see here. I don't know if you can see that.
Here, how about this? We'll just try our new shot here.
Boom. Here.
Look at that.
And then you got like a half outsert here, which is an insert that's half in
and half out.
Half out.
And I'm all about
I like that, the breathy version of that.
I'm all about the outsert. It protects the end of the arrow.
It can keep the arrow from blunderbusting or splitting, however you want to say that, because it encapsulates the end of the shaft, so if you hit something very hard, big humerus bone or something like that,
you
and
can
a big
just
old elk,
change the outsert and you still have your arrow.
they're not, I don't want to lead people to believe that an outsert or a half outsert is just indestructible.
No, they will bend. I bend them.
If you got stainless ones, of course you're going to deal with more weight, but you're talking about more strength because lots of them are aluminum.
Yeah, they're aluminum, and they will warp if you hit like a tree or something.
You can hit something hard enough, and you can get a wobble in your broadhead. So I don't want people just I just hit a brick wall, but I got an outsert. So
well,
okay.
I mean, yeah, they
check
can.
it.
Yeah,
check it.
Yeah,
you know what
need
I mean?
to check.
But as far as the destroy of the arrow,
the principle behind it is
many times they protect the arrow. So here's the deal. Like we said when we started, there's all kinds of people. They've had YouTube rants and battles
that are going on probably right now.
And here we are. We're just another couple guys,
couple Joes,
that's going to drop a little of what we think. Most of the people, not all, a lot of the people drop their opinion without a great deal of testing. Some have not. There are some that are shooting, they're in places in South Texas. They're grabbing hogs and shooting them with heavy and arrows and different kinds of broadheads and seeing what it does. And that's
a lot of people
don't get much better testing than that. Some other individuals, all they have to do is set, in a dojo somewhere, or so they call it.
Shoot at wood or
and shoot it and do test and do site tape test and heavy versus this and the benefits and KE and momentum, and they set and do the math, and I respect that. I'm not making fun of that. I respect the guy that is shooting hogs,
the math behind it. Here's the science,
and setting up and shooting hogs and doing all kinds of tests.
I want to shoot hogs in the
so
face.
There's those guys, and then there's guys that like what we're going to do.
They just regurgitate what they've heard.
They're going to get on there and say what they think. No, to some degree, I made a statement that I'm going to end this and say, out of the great debate, I'm going to end up right tonight. But
and you will be. I know where you're going with this.
But anyway, it'll be good. So anyway, the great debate. What is it? Do you need are heavier, slow arrows better than light, fast arrows in the hunting world? Chime in, somebody please. Tell us what you think. I'm gonna move my phone over here where I can read.
Wes Hutchcraft he's jumping in here. I'm small diameter, 470, 500 grain guy. I'm with Wes. I'll get in that camp right there. Small diameter, heavy arrow. I'm in that one for sure. I think personally, from my own experience, that you get more penetration, better arrow flight because you have less friction. There's just less there. I mean, that's I can just speak from my own, own experience. I shot several deer this year. I'm not going to get into the ethics of how I shot them, but I would just say that some of them were looking at me. All right. And I shoved them arrows way in there, and almost everything I hit went through completely and come out the other side. And it went through.
Well, you're kind of talking a different debate there on you're talking.
Well, I'm just saying why I like
smaller diameter.
Why I
shafts.
like the smaller diameter.
Because here's another thing. Let me clear this up real quick. You hear people say, "Well, you shooting 4 mils or 5 mils or 5.5s or 6.5s," and that's just the inner diameter of that shaft when they're talking about that. So,
Clint Harvey says he's a fan of the sledgehammer.
The sledgehammer. How come I'm not seeing? Is he on YouTube?
Yeah, he's coming. He's here on my phone here.
Oh well. I didn't see him there.
Not crazy heavy, but not light. Somewhere in the middle.
Who said that?
Mr. Hutchcraft.
Oh. Here's the deal. For one, it would have to vary to some degree for what you're hunting.
Yeah, what are you shooting at?
What are you hunting? Are you hunting Cape buffalo, American bison,
Crocodiles,
muskox,
cheetahs?
thin skin, small bone cheetah, light and fast.
Make a killer lining
But
for
you
my
know
boots.
what I mean? Or are you hunting a thinner skinned, lighter furred, a whitetail?
Or are you up against a
The
big
old
shoulder of
the old speed goat out in
yeah.
in Wyoming, the antelope, the pronghorns out there.
Mhm.
I mean,
Or you punching a big shoulder blade of a moose or an elk, something that's gonna
yeah,
or a bear.
yeah.
You know,
I like the thoughts of enough power.
Mhm.
What's going on there?
It's just garbage.
I like the thoughts of
Get rid of that.
of power that can make up for my mistake.
Yeah.
I have always leaned a little bit that way.
Oh yeah. That's why you shoot an 82-pound bow.
That being said, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the best way.
No, it does work.
But I've always thought, well, here's the deal. I can like here I've got this day 6 arrow, and this is not if our customer's watching and he sees his arrow,
He should be happy because
he
it
should
looks
be-
awesome.
It does look good.
Yeah, good for you,
And
man.
this is not his broadhead. I just grabbed a head out of a box and screwed on this. I don't know what he shoots, so I don't want to represent him in this. But this is this would be a Spitfire with the cut-on contact tip. I don't know what that XP or probably something like that.
Looks pretty mean.
Mechanical, opens up, flip open.
Can I have a thought on the arrow here real quick?
Let's stick with the arrow because I was
Okay.
about to drift.
Yeah, we're about to go into Broadhead City, and it's has many streets. The thing with shooting a heavy arrow at, or just like even feet per second. Here's another terminology you're going to hear. How many feet per second? FPS. That's big deal too. That's part of the math equation.
Right.
The faster that you're going to shoot an arrow, the less forgiving it is.
Potentially.
The less time
I think that's debatable too.
Well, it just entertain me. So
okay.
what?
That's what we've been told for years.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. So it's like if you are shooting, if you're say you're not the most skilled archer on the planet, or maybe you have some bad habits and you're a trigger puncher. Sometimes it's easier to loft a baseball across home plate than it is to throw it as hard as you possibly can.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Sure.
Sometimes I can, if I can slow down a little bit, I can be a little more accurate. With that being said, I like them to go as fast as I can possibly push them. I do. I mean,
so
I
that
do.
being said,
I do.
I do too.
I do. I'll take a heavy as I'll try to find the right spot where I can get an arrow to go. Honestly, that magic number for me now is it's over 300.
So you want to be 3 or over?
I want to be 3 or over, but I do feel like you can get so fast that.
So you're going to tell the guy, everybody listening.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to contradict yourself.
I don't want to contradict myself, but if I do.
But the people that are listening are going to say, if you're shooting 300 or over,
mm-hmm.
you're shooting what many in this debate that lean especially towards the heavy side.
Yeah.
You're telling them in one way, shape, or form that you're shooting a little lighter arrow than they think you should shoot.
Not necessarily, because if I can take a bow, perform.
That's true, but I'm just for the most part, most bows are not going to push a 520 plus arrow, 550 arrow over 300.
You're right. There's some hanging on the wall here.
There's
at Ultra Products.
There's one in this place that will do it.
Yeah, Machine Extreme will.
But I don't know that there's another bow in here that will. Now, we can put the 80-pound mods on the lift,
this
and
is
maybe.
This is what I'm wanting to do this year. I'm wanting to take my lift. I'm a 29.5 draw, and I'm gonna put 80-pound mods on that, and maybe put a couple twist in that dude, and just put her a skosh over 80 and see what she'll do, and try to find if I can flatten out there about 3 Honda 100 grain arrow. I will be tickled.
I'm playing with this right now. This is a Rampage. Black Eagles 150 grain. I've been shooting 150 grain. Filled. I think this Rampage is a little stouter arrow. I think it's going to. There's another 80-pound bow in here, Jared, if you're watching.
That thing, dude. That's a
place. Playing with it the other day in here. It can't push this arrow like mine. It can't launch it at 3. It's like, I think it was 289 or get real.
Well, see, here I am going, oh, that's heavy.
That's heavy.
Yeah. That's on
heavy.
That's on the top end
Well,
of arrow grain.
Yeah. Wait.
Shooting Cape Buffalo here.
But we haven't.
I don't know. It's one to. It's just Wes isn't here, so it's throwing stuff at me. I don't know.
We may be experiencing some
technical difficulties.
But everybody, yeah. Yeah.
We froze up again?
Yeah, it's not. It's never. When you switch back, it's never went back.
Oh, man.
Technology. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't get in here.
Anyway.
Restart. I think we're going to have to shut her down. Can't get in here. Restart. Are we back now?
I'm sorry, people. I think the internet's bugging out on us.
It's working, kind of. Back now?
Sure. I think the internet's bugging out on us.
It's working. It's looking back. Wes says we're back. We're back. It said the device unexpected. Connection lost. Reconnecting. Well, we're back. We're going. See, she's clicking away right there. Reconnecting. We're back. We're going. See, she's clicking away right there. Reconnecting. We're back. We're going. See, she's clicking away right there. Reconnecting. Live. Here we go. We're good. Here we go. Okay. I think a little rough patch, a little something for Wes to edit.
Well, someone will have to comment and let us know.
Okay. I think a little rough patch, a little something for Wes to edit. There he goes.
Someone comment and let us know.
There, we're glitchy. There we go. There, we're glitchy. There we go. Okay. Whoa, we got a bunch of feedback here. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going now, man.
Oh, goodness.
We did it.
I
We
don't
made
know.
it. No, we're good,
It
man.
makes me want to have a high speed come
It's
apart.
okay, man. We're going to do it. This is just what we have to power through. This is just, we're overcomers. We're more than conquerors, Laythan.
Are we working?
Yeah, we're working,
Okay,
man.
because
We're
you told
good.
me 4 times we're working.
Well, you've been preaching faith. So I've just been speaking it.
Well, praise the Lord.
We're going. Yeah. Yeah. See?
I'm still a little reluctant because it ain't
That's
working
okay.
on my phone.
I got you, man. We're good. We're good. Just smile.
Smile and wave,
All right.
boys. Smile and wave.
We made it. We made
Where
it.
was we?
We were talking about arrows and broadheads. Anyway, so
Well, here's the deal.
let's go to Broadhead City. Let's just
Broadhead City.
Yeah.
We were talking arrow weight. Let's finish. Here's the deal. You got the trade-off. I think that's where it was.
Yeah.
There's a trade-off that is between, pin gap and and
Yeah.
momentum and kinetic energy and feet per second and all that stuff. But
I mean, if you want to close your pin gap, you got to shoot it faster.
you got to shoot faster. If you never shoot past 20, there's also time to target. That means how long it takes the arrow from the time it leaves the bow to get to the target. Obviously, if it's going a bunch of feet per second faster than another bow, then it's going to get there quicker, which leads to maybe less movement of the animal before it makes contact. So you hit closer to where you were aiming. So you think we're still good?
We're good, man. We are.
All right.
We are
So the
locked
great
in.
debate is one group says heavy, heavy, heavy. The other group says, light and fast. Well, and then there's maybe three groups. Wes said he's in the middle,
Yeah.
I say get off the fence. The Bible says be hot or cold.
One or the other. One or the other,
No,
man.
I'm just teasing on that. But so there's all kinds of arrows, all kinds of different scenarios, all kinds of different diameters. And then you get over into the broadhead argument.
Mm-hmm.
So lay this out. There's a heavy camp and a light camp, or maybe a lighter camp.
Yes.
And then in those same arguments, there's broadheads. Here's a QAD fixed head. Here's a Rage hypodermic mechanical rear deploying. What else we got? The old tried and true Muzzy, I love you.
Oh yeah. Bad to the bone.
Bad to the bone Muzzy killed, gosh,
can't even count them.
Potentially as many deer as any broadhead on the planet. There's a Grim Reaper front deploying or flip around mechanical, been around forever.
Heath is a big fan of those.
Yeah,
they
killed tons of deer. Here's a hybrid Muzzy Trocar hybrid.
Can we check those out?
It's
man?
got two blades fixed and two blades on like a gator. Ain't a whole lot of people even know what the gator design is anymore. So blades that basically are mechanical. So two fixed heads, two blades in there that are two fixed heads, two blades that are fixed, two blades that are mechanically move upon impact. I think this is the very...
And they deploy off the front, don't they?
They're like that gator flip out rear deploy.
Okay.
But this is the very head, the hybrid HP hybrid Muzzy Trocar that Wes killed his elk with last year.
Yeah, and he tore a big hole in that thing, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he drove it all the way. He didn't get a pass through, but he drove it all the way through. The age-old Wasp jackhammers.
You know it.
Been around a long time, front deploying, very, very typical.
Aren't those American made?
Very typical broadhead. Wasp is a super good company because they are hardcore America.
America.
This is an NAP that's on this. I was talking about earlier before we got cut off. An NAP.
That's very similar to your Grim Reaper here.
Spitfire. It would carry the same. They don't have rubber bands. They got clips. There's a Mega Meat there. There's a Magnus. There's another American company. Come on. I think Grim Reaper is a pretty American company too.
This old Magnus, man.
But the old Magnus Black Hornet. There's Magnus Stingers.
Check those out.
They're
been around forever.
Yeah, the Black Hornet's not been around as long as the Stinger, but Magnus.
Magnus has been
around for a long time. A lot of deer, tough heads. I killed my deer last year with Magnus.
I like heads. This little bleeder on there. Those look pretty nice. Tough.
So what's the debate here?
Well,
the debate is one guy's going to say you're crazy to put a mechanical head on.
These are some.
That's Grim Reaper. Is that the Hades?
These are the Hades. These are Grim Reaper's take on a fixed blade.
Yeah.
Where's the old Schwackers at? You ever get them?
Oh, I didn't grab the Schwackers. I'm sorry.
I
went out there.
They don't get no love.
Well, and then now in the broadhead world, what I was saying earlier, there's even these way specialty companies. Here we've got an iron will.
Yes.
This
company looks too sharp to even take out of the box.
This company, you can literally buy, I think, one broadhead at a time. And there's a reason, because you have to take out a second mortgage on your house to buy it.
They are nice.
There it fell out there.
No.
What many people don't know about a lot of these real, what I'd call more of a special broadhead, a company that
custom
really, I'm not going to knock them, because they really upgrade the steel. They use some of the best steel you can use. Yeah. This is a piece together. Some of those broadheads, I think Trinity. My brain just lofted out on me. Several companies: Tough Head, Grizzly, Several companies make a one piece, but what you don't maybe realize is those broadheads are going to cost, and broadheads even in and of themselves and everything's high, but these broadheads are going to cost you. I mean, you're going to indentured servant your kids for a half dozen. No, but you'll feel like that. It's going to happen if you came in and priced.
You'd be a little
those.
reluctant to take the shot, huh?
And here's this is in the same camp of because this is a 200
that's heavy
grain broadhead, I believe. 200 grain broadhead.
So you could really break the spine down on an arrow pretty quick.
Yeah, like if you're shooting a hard shooting fast bow with a long draw and you buy this arrow, you better think real hard because you may be going up.
Yeah.
Or stiffer, which is down in number, but you may be going from a 300 to 250 spine or something to keep this broadhead from breaking your spine down too much. So what's the debate in the broadhead world? Well, the debate is you're crazy if you shoot, one person calls them flip flappers.
Yeah. Flapper dappers.
Flappers and all that stuff. But here's the deal. African game, North American game, all over the world game have been killed with mechanical broadheads.
Oh my gosh. And specifically those.
And here's something I don't hear a lot of them mention. I would look at a guy and say, you need to be shooting a mechanical broadhead.
Can we talk about how they fly and how they tune?
And that's why I would look at a guy and say, you need to be shooting, even though I'm probably going to shoot this sweet little Wasp. It's actually their traditional head, but
very nice.
It's a 150 grain broadhead, and I'm
I got a good bleeder.
I'm going to shoot. I'm going to try to shoot semi-heavy this year, maybe. But there is a situation and a people or a group that I would look at if they came in the shop and I've said, you need to shoot this head being a mechanical, whether it's that mechanical, this mechanical, the Wash Jackhammer.
Those
are
my people. Mechanical people.
Those are your people?
Those are my people.
But there are some people, and this is what I was saying, that you don't hear very many people say, that I would encourage them
to shoot fixed.
To shoot mechanical.
Oh. Yeah, there's kind of a resurgence where guys are going back to fixed.
But then there might very well be some people that would come in. I say, you really need to shoot this head, which is a fixed head, maybe not this particular one.
Why? Give us an instance.
So here's the instance. If I've got a guy that's new.
Yeah.
And there's other things that roll into this, but he obviously he's got to have enough poundage, enough power to open the mechanical broadhead. You got me?
Uh-huh.
But if I have a guy hasn't shot a bunch, these for the not as trained shooter, newer shooter, or a guy that's like, I'm not worried about all that tuning. I'm just going to get them flying decent and send them.
Yeah.
And hope they stick.
Because they won't if you don't.
Yeah.
All right.
But what I'm saying is because he is going to shoot better with these.
With the mechanical.
That's not to say that these won't shoot good.
They say those do shoot pretty good.
Well, they all shoot good when excluding some really crazy scenario where a broadhead's not even straight and won't spin.
No aerodynamics.
But all these broadheads will shoot when the arrow and the bow are working together right.
In harmony, yeah.
But even then, a new shooter that maybe struggles with torquing the bow or struggles a little bit.
Puncher.
Or he or she does not have the time. I don't hear them talking about this, and I wanted to talk about it tonight. Does not have the time to bust out a ton of shots and work out a few bad habits. But here's the deal. They're like, man, I'm shooting pretty good with my field points.
Yeah.
And they look at me and they may say, I don't have the time to go through that whole tuning situation. I only get to hunt several times a year. I get, maybe 30, 40, 50 shots in, and then I'm done. I go hunting. Yeah. That I'm going to say, you should probably shoot this. Because
that'll fly.
here's the
good.
deal. If you torque your bow a little bit and that arrow leaves a little bit funny, this one is going to hit closer to the mark.
It's more
If
forgiving.
you don't hold your bow right and you send this one, because now we're putting fletchings on the front of the arrow.
That's right.
And if you don't hold your bow right, then this one is not going to hit, even if the bow's in tune.
Oh, yeah.
The bow can be perfectly in tune, the arrow perfectly in tune. And if you've got a funky grip or you struggle a little bit with a torque, then I would probably say maybe you should shoot this.
Lean into your string, all kinds of stuff.
Because this one is not going to grab air and plane or lift or whatever the argument is.
And they will.
They will. When you put blades, this one's not going to do that as bad. That being said, we should all want to work on our form, get better. Some people not as worried about it. They don't care. So these mechanical heads in that regard they're going to fly better. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact that these fixed heads, these old muzzies, these are QADs, Magnus. There's a gob more, the Grim Reaper Hades. You can go out there, the Montex, the M3s, Dead Meats. There's just, there's 100 of them out there. And they will shoot good. And they will, when the bow is doing right, they will shoot good. And if you don't, maybe you don't have those, you're like, man, I shoot hundreds of shots.
Yeah.
I don't have a major problem with form.
I've good mechanics.
I've worked my form out. I don't have lots of flyers and stuff like that. Then hey, this one, and you want to shoot fixed, I'm going to lean you. I say, shoot it, man. If you shoot a bunch, you've tuned your bow, you've got the right spine, you've got the right arrow, you got the right weight, all that's jiving. Shoot a fixed head. There's another scenario here where I would lean people to the fixed head. Obviously, lower poundage people.
Yeah.
People that's pulling 40 pounds, kids pulling 40 pounds, girls that aren't pulling as much weight. They might want to lean to a fixed head, but at the same time, they're making some pretty crazy good mechanical heads.
They fly good.
That don't take much energy to open. Now,
that's a good system.
If I was going to lean them, low poundage shooters, if I was going to lean them to a mechanical, I probably wouldn't lean them to the big 2-inch cuts and stuff. I'd probably say
wider than that.
Because hey, I shot mechanicals for years. I shot rocket steel heads. They were only like 1 1/8 inch cut. People were like, why do you even shoot a mechanical if you're not going to shoot a 3 or 2 or whatever it is? And I was like, here's the deal. They fly amazing for me.
Yep.
They fly good even at extended ranges. They don't grab. They don't have as much surface area to get a side wind that causes it to plane or drift.
They find their mark.
I said they're short. They have a short furl. I never, listen to me now, Rocket, if you're out there. Because they discontinued it, I think. They don't make it
have any
anymore.
rockets out there?
Well, there's still rockets, but they've been bought out. But the rocket steelhead.
The steelhead.
I never picked up a rocket steelhead that was broken.
Really?
Shoulders, bones, backbones.
Blast through them.
Through them, stuck in the ground, rocks and dirt. Now, I'm not saying they weren't damaged.
Sure. Curling the blades up.
Might have some glints on the blades. Might even have a little blade, one of the blades taken on a little bit of a bend or a warp. Or the tip hit a rock in the ground and blunted the tip a little bit. But I never picked one up and like, oh, yeah, he's destroyed.
Yeah, that's ruined. Yeah.
And maybe they wasn't where I would want to shoot them again, but they were never destroyed. And people's like, why'd you do that? Because I said, I err on the side of tough.
Yeah.
I err on the side of tough. The huge cut to me, obviously, if you shove 2.5 inches of blade through lungs,
that's moving,
and arteries, it's going to knock a big hole in them,
and they will bleed if you hit the right spot.
Yeah,
quickly.
But if you shove any broadhead through the lungs and arteries,
you'll kill them. If you get both lungs,
if you're cutting 1 inch and a 1/16 or bigger, or 1 1/8 inch, whatever it is, you're
going to do the job.
My thinking always was, if I hit the big bone, the humerus shoulder, and I'm trying to push 2.5 to 3 inches through.
You're going to stick it in the shoulder.
I'm
Or you'll
pulling a lot of energy
or break the broadhead
out of my arrow. So I always aired kind of that way. Have I shot 2-inch broadheaded? Yeah. I've killed a lot of deer.
Oh, man.
With some rages. I've killed some deer with some Grim Reapers.
Dude, I cut holes in them you could put your hand in, man.
So at the end of this, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just bust it out here for me to say, in this whole debate of you're crazy because you shoot heavy, you're stupid to shoot that light, I can't believe you shoot those flip flappers, mechanical broadheads, shoot adult arrows, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or, I can't believe, that you're shooting that heavy of a broad arrow, that heavy. I can't believe all that debate. And when I say at the end, I'll be right. It's this. For one, it's subjective.
Yes.
It's what the guy likes and is working for him. So I'm like, at the end of the day, what do you like? And obviously, I'm not talking about going out there, with a junior 500 spine, starter arrow.
And trying to run it through a big bow.
With a 2-inch broadhead on it. I'm not talking about the extreme.
We're talking about common sense.
I'm in a bow shop all the time. I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is like one guy's like, I'd like to shoot heavy. I'd like to give this a whirl.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what happens. Sometimes they go out, they shoot heavy, and they come back and they're like,
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like what the results I was getting. And it wasn't the results on the animal. It was the results
on how they
on
felt.
Target.
Yeah, how they felt on
what they saw, what they felt, things like that. Now there's some guys like, man, I love it. And then, so I'm not necessarily talking about I'm saying I'm right in the fact, shoot if you want to shoot 680 grain arrows.
I know guys that do it, man.
Do it. It's the same thing I say sometimes with bucks and the size and all that stuff. It's the same scenario. If you want to do that, do it.
Don't let people sway
don't
you.
Look across the table.
Yeah. What's good for me may not be good for you.
Don't look across the table and say, that ain't working. I tell the story all the time. We was at a show and carbon arrows weren't new by no means.
Yeah.
But there was still a lot of guys
that were still hanging on to the old aluminum.
That were still flipping aluminum arrows out there. And here's the deal. Good. Do it.
I'd like to.
But this individual come up to me at the show, and one of my arrows, I've told this story on the podcast, I think, before, was laying on the table in our little display. It was kind of, eye candy for people or whatever. He picks it up and he looks my arrow and looks it over, and he does this here and flexes a little bit and looks it over and he goes, shakes his head no. And I was like, to the point, like it's getting awkward. I'm like,
what's this guy doing?
And I said,
he's thinking really hard.
He goes, this won't work. And it was I know exactly what it was because we were sponsored by him at the time. It was a Victory V-Force.
Yeah.
It was probably a 350 spine. It was probably a 8 point whatever grain per inch.
8.4 or whatever.
It probably had 100 grain Grim Reaper tied to the front of it. And he picked it up, flexed around on it, did the old human scale. Yeah, I think that's did the old human scale. And he shook his head no and said, that won't work. And I said, won't work what?
Yeah, what won't work about this arrow?
This is not, you cannot kill deer with this. And I thought to myself, that's pretty strange. Because that one you're holding very well may have killed 2 or 3. I don't know. I mean, I've killed lots of deer with that very arrow.
Yeah.
Maybe the very arrow that you're holding. I just washed it up, and I brought it out here for our display, our booth. So I'm saying I feel confident enough. Hey, QAD signing off.
They're getting out of here.
They're out of this argument. They don't have a dog in the fight no more.
They're taking
But
a
I'm
nap.
saying at the end of the day, I joked and said I'm going to be right, because if let's just drop names. If Troy from Ranch Ferry wants to shoot a 600 grain with a 300 grain broadhead or whatever, and he loves it and he sees good results,
He can make it do it.
do it. But he can't hand that arrow. He can't hand that arrow to some of these kids that are coming in here. It's their first year and they're pulling 40 pounds.
No, you're developing bad habits from the very beginning
No,
there.
no, I wouldn't say that. I'd say that's not a bad habit for him.
But for them, it would be.
But it's not even a bad habit because they don't have a habit yet.
No, I guess
it would
they're
be.
not.
You can't argue from that standpoint, because it's not going to work for that kid. He's going to have to get a 400 spine.
Yeah.
He's going to have to cut it back, and
Well,
he's
that
going to
would-
have to put. I'm all for sharpen them, man. Troy's big on that, and I'm big on that. I get broadheads out of the package, and
And
I put a
sharpen 'em
new
up.
edge on them.
I've done that before.
Most broadheads for me, to some degree, are not sharp enough out of the box, and I generally sit there. I take them apart. I put a cleaner edge, a sharper edge on them. Troy from Ranch Ferry is always saying that. He's always showing people. I think that's great information.
And some of them you can resharpen, and some
And
of
he
them-
would probably, if we could get him on here, he would probably say, "Well, I don't mean for a kid that's pulling,
Yeah, he's
um,
talking about probably the same lane.
I think the weight in Illinois is new. I don't think it's 40 pounds anymore. Is it 35 or 30?
Yeah, they've lowered a lot of that.
So, and I could be wrong. Someone in the comments research it, tell us, or something like that, or we can and update you later. But I don't think you can hand that kid a 600 grain arrow with a 300 grizzly stick broadhead, 300 grain broadhead on the front
Well, he
of
won't
it,
be able to shoot it accurately.
and him, be able to do things.
Well, and that's what I got to the bad habits type of deal. Because if he tries that stuff, it's just not going to work.
Well, I mean, he's going to go out there and he's slowing his bow down to a place that
It's just ineffective then.
yeah, there's a
You
we
can't even-
talk about, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not smart enough, but there's like an X on the chart of KE and momentum and all that stuff and speed. And if you can get the right speed with the right weight. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it has to somewhat be adjusted for every individual person. Now, if you're the guy that's coming in, he's like, man, I can rip 75 pounds. I can rip 70 pounds. I got a good 29.5-inch draw, so I'm getting lots of
the bow. Yeah.
I'm using all the bow up. Then that guy can play. He can try the 600 grain arrow. He can try the lighter arrow. He needs to go out and put it in the field and go hunting, and see what he thinks out there, see what he thinks on the target, see what he thinks across the board. And at the end of the day, if he settles on a 460 grain arrow, that's not wrong for him.
That's not. That's what that's what suits
But what
him
I'm
and his
saying, what'll
equipment.
make me right in this debate, and will make some of them wrong, I hate to just point fingers at them, is
Come on.
sometimes they'll take such a stance that it's this way, and that's not.
It's my
it's
way or the
not.
highway.
It's not that
Yeah.
way. It's not that way. Now, obviously, if a guy comes in here and we're whitetail hunting, see these beautiful, majestic, big whitetails hanging on the
Beast.
walls behind us,
Beast behind us.
I mean, just great looking bucks.
Glistening
If you're
in the light.
in Southern Illinois, or if you're in the Midwest or whatever, and you're hunting these big, big bodied, or Canada, even bigger bodied
Oh, yeah.
whitetails up there,
It's huge.
you can go at them guys. You can go at them guys with 460 grain arrows, with 2-inch broadheads,
And rip through them.
and smoke them.
Oh yeah,
That's just how it is. That's just how it is. Now, you can be the guy that's like, yes, I can do that, but I'm going to lean a little heavier. I'm going to put a cut on, or a good strong. This is all steel, no aluminum in this head. I may go this way because I'm going to practice a ton. I'm going to shoot thousands of shots.
Yeah.
I'm going to hone my skill. I'm going to be able to put it right where I want it. And by chance, if I do hit the humerus bone,
it's going to go
the shoulder
through.
blade people. I don't know if people don't realize it's not the problem. It's right down there at the end of it.
Yeah, where it all comes together.
Where it all comes together.
That's where it's meaty.
I mean,
That's
most
where
bows
thick.
and most broadheads will blast through a shoulder blade, and if you know, it depends on what angle
you can
he
hit
is.
that little sliver in the middle there.
Yeah,
and
there's a blade in there,
that
but
can
I still feel
push you one way or the other.
most men are going to shoot through that.
Yeah.
Yes, and it can deflect, and the bigger the broadhead, the more
opportunity you have for deflection. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to slip it in there. I'm going to practice, but by chance, if I shoot too far forward, the speed, the stiffness, the all steel construction, that does give me an edge.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up to blow through that shoulder.
That gives me an edge to be able to get through there, you know.
And if you're going to big buck hunt, I would say that you probably.
But I'm going to say, if you're not going to hone your skill and you're going to not learn how to hold on a deer, because there's an art to holding on a deer.
Yeah.
You know, everybody can hold on a dot. Everybody can hold on a 3D target because there's no nerves and you're not upset. You know, you're not on a time crunch. When you've mastered holding on a live animal, holding the right spot, taking your time, everybody shoots faster when they're shooting at a deer.
Oh, yeah, it happens quick.
A guy that holds a 20-second shot in the backyard to snap off a clean, perfect shot, he holds maybe 6 seconds, maybe 5 seconds on a big buck. When he's I'm not talking about drawing and waiting for that buck to come walking out. I'm talking about
settling your pin.
Yeah, pins on him, bang, send it, you know.
Because these things don't stand still very long.
Right. So that being said, you know, when you've mastered holding on that deer and touching off that shot, you know, if you're not going to spend a lot of time at that and you're just like, I'm going to hold it center mass, here's what I'd say to you. If you're a center mass guy,
probably need some blades.
You might want to go 2 inches. You might want to go to the extremities more, because if you're going to gut shoot them,
hopefully you get something.
If you're going to gut shoot deer, if you're prone to do that, then a big cut's better, obviously.
Shooting back on them.
But I've shot deer with a 3-blade Muzzy, and I'm just going to tell you, I've killed well over 100 whitetails with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
If
that's a pile of deer.
I mean, I'm not, you know, I started in the 6th grade. I killed one in the 6th grade. I killed nothing my 2nd year. I had the buck fever so bad. I was bending it and sending it before they were even working. I would pull that
bouncing
bow back
off the ground
and not even aim. I'd get so excited. And then I'd cry, and I knew exactly what I did. I was like, Laythan, you didn't even aim at him. But the 3rd year, I got it under control. Killed 2 deer, filled both my tags, and then somewhere right in there is where they made tags where you could just go back to Walmart and buy another.
That's when he got the fever.
And that's when they started getting deep. That's when my dad told me, he said, all right, here's the deal, son. If you kill another deer, to another deer, your season's over.
Yeah, so shut you down.
If you kill another deer, season's over. He said, so now when you shoot one, you better make sure it's one you want to end your season on. So I say all that to say I've killed 4 to 6 every year of my bow hunting since the 6th grade.
That's pretty good.
Until the last 4 to 6 years.
Slowed down a little bit more.
Well, we don't eat them as much. Yeah. My kids are grown out of the house, you know, so I don't eat them as much. I got so many friends that shoot so many, they bring me stuff to eat off of them. Wes being probably the main one, always bringing some deer sticks or some sausages or something.
He's a connoisseur, isn't he?
He likes to spice the meats. But anyway, so I just, you know, it's not that I'm against killing does. There's people of the world that we shouldn't shoot does.
They're delicious.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
they are.
I'm not of that camp.
And they're easy to drag.
I haven't killed a doe. Yeah, they're definitely easy. My grandpa used to say, when they got them milk slobbers in the corner of the mouth, them are the most delicious. Those are the most delicious. And he's like, and they're the easiest ones to get out of the woods.
Like a little veal. I've done that before. I've been like, oh, that little one there.
Yeah. You're awful. You're awful. But anyway.
You don't even know.
Yeah, so I've not killed as many does and stuff the last couple of years. Not that I'm against it. I just haven't because I haven't had.
He's growing the herd.
hadn't had a real need to smack them. But every once in a while, you got to do some killing.
I know.
So
I do.
anyway,
I do know.
I take out my killing. I try to on the coyotes after season. If I don't,
Man, I got 2 of them. The boogers are just running
all over your cameras and stuff.
Yeah, I've dropped fawns all over the place up in my house. I've been watching this set of twins. Oh, mama, she's doing good. She's keeping
I've been
them.
seeing some fawns.
Yeah, but I've been watching these little devil dogs.
Yeah.
And tracking them.
So let me circle back and say this. I'm right.
So am I.
The ones that
we're right. We are
no.
right.
And when I say that, the ones that I'm talking about, there's
The naysayers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say names. There's John Dudley. He's of one camp.
Yeah.
The big debate, it seemed like, was between him and Range Farrier Troy.
Yeah.
And really, I don't think they're as far apart as maybe they think. And who cares? I'm not here to get into that debate. I'm saying it's got to fit the person first and foremost.
Yeah.
It's got to fit the person. Can't have a kid pulling 35 pounds shooting a 692 grain arrow that he can't get out there.
Probably barely get it to the target.
We're going to have to get that deer
Half
at 4 yards from him.
Yeah.
When he can get a razor sharp cut on contact broadhead, and he still needs it close. You don't get me wrong. If he's going to shoot a 400 spine at 35 pounds, he's not going to be busting at 45, 50 yards.
He's 20-yard guy.
He needs to get him, inside, preferably inside 20 yards.
Which is the beautiful thing about bow hunting.
The beautiful thing about Tiggers is a beautiful thing.
But really, though, I mean, I know I'm going down something there, but
yeah,
that's the thing about bow hunting.
It's really, when I say I'm right, it's because a guy
has to suit
and
your
this
needs.
is the beautiful thing you're talking about. He comes in, he wants to build his rig, his setup. He wants to customize his arrows. He wants to put what kind of veins, John Dudley or something said, because we watch YouTube and we get influenced by them influencers.
We need a 3-degree right helical.
He wants, man, I want the 4 fletch. It's the newest thing. I want the 3 fletch. I want the short fletch. I want the higher. I want the helical. I need wraps. I want this. I want that style, certain arrow.
We need to wait. We need more FOC.
All this stuff, and ordering special. You can get on different companies. I wish I could remember the name, but you can get on there and they got special.
These guys right here,
Deep Impact by Black Eagle, Spartans, good arrows.
Dude, these things.
We got the Rip TKOs back here. These are all, by the way, right here at Ultra
available at
Ultra Products. So he wants to customize his stuff. You know what I'm saying? He wants to make it his, and that's good and that's right. Do it.
Yeah.
Make it work for you. Make it shoot best for you.
Yeah.
That's where I'm saying I'm right. And obviously, I'm not saying to go nuts like, well, then I want to shoot 362 feet per second. So I'm going to see if I can get a 400 spine or less. I'm not talking about, that's ridiculous. And we wouldn't let you do that. If you came in shooting a 70-pound bow or plus 75-pound bow with a 31, and I'm like, dude, you got a 40 spine arrow? It's like, it's dangerous. You're going to hurt yourself.
You're going to run that arrow. It's going to blow up and run it through your hand.
But when it comes down past that, when we're not talking about the extremes
safety
of things,
issues.
Safety and just the extreme side of it, make it work for you.
Yeah. What do you enjoy? What works good for you?
What is the best for you? What comes out at the end of the day best for you?
And
I'm telling you, I believe, I'm confident enough in my knowledge of the systems.
Yeah.
The making the bow shoot good, building arrows and killing animals with arrows, not just shooting foam and not just shooting targets and not just so worried about pin gap. No, what happens at the animal, in the animal, and on the other side of the animal. I'm confident enough to say that build it how it works for you.
And That's why you guys should come on down to Ultra Products, because these guys down here can set you up, man.
Well,
They
I
got some good knowledge
yeah,
here.
I have a I love it. I
You
enjoy
love
it.
building arrows.
I love building arrows. I love tinkering with the bow.
Yeah, you make it shoot.
I love the ins and outs. Why does one bow shoot faster? And I know
Mhm.
it's cams and weight and all that
The
stuff.
anchor, just
I love to
everything.
break it down to the point. It's like, how come my bow seems to push, not me and Jarrett's doing this the other day. It seems like when he shot his 80-pound bow against mine was a little faster. Jarrett, if you're out there, you know it. It
Just
was a little,
concede. It was.
it was mine was a little faster. But listen to this. It seemed like we started going up in arrow weight.
Yeah. And yours stayed there.
And it seemed like mine didn't lose speed as fast as his did.
Mhm.
We were doing that. And he was like, wait a minute, because
Those
it's
big
like,
limbs.
so, so if I went, so we shot a 450, and I was shooting 10 feet per second faster than him, 450 grain arrow. And then we went to a 500.
Yeah.
He slowed down 10. I only slowed down 6.
That's a big deal.
And he was like, no, what's that all about? And you know what I said? My answer was, I don't know, but that intrigues me.
It's got to be the limbs.
That intrigues me, that the combination of that cam's more efficient.
That's what it is, honestly.
That cam's more efficient or something. But anyway, I say all that to say, I love that stuff. I just talked to a guy today. He was in here right before you came in. He was like, I want to master field points and broadhead flying in the same place.
Come to the right place.
He said, what does that mean? I said, that means you coming in here with me, and it's going to take us some time, but we'll scratch around.
Yep.
And it may mean you buying new arrows. It may mean you changing weight of broadhead and all that stuff, new broadheads. It may mean changing some stuff, but we will crawl all over that thing until your broadheads and your field points hit the same spot.
Oh, there's no doubt
He
about
said,
it.
I'll be in there tomorrow. We'll start this.
You've done that for me, man. I went to tune on mine. You've taught me a lot. But I've had things where I'm like, that's probably okay. And you'll be like, better move out just a little bit more. And at the end of the day, I mean, you've helped me out a lot and taught me a bunch, and show me how to achieve some accuracy with these bows. And you're passing it on, man. That's the thing.
The saying is, I've heard this saying, you always want the bow to outshoot you.
Yeah.
So if the bow's not outshooting you, that means the bow's out of tune and it's flying all over the place.
You want some forgiveness, man.
You know what I mean? You want the bow to be so tuned that it's, when you miss,
you can't hardly mess up.
You missed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You missed.
You're like,
the bow didn't miss.
That was me.
You missed. The bow didn't miss. It was you. You torqued it. You punched it. You wasn't there when you let it go, and it landed in a weird spot.
That's like when we're outside and we're like, oh, that's high and right.
Yeah, I did that one.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what you want.
And because you can call it. I mean, your bow's so good that you're like, oh, I know where that went. That was me.
So at the end of the day, I'm right.
You are right.
You're right.
We're right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm right too.
I think if one guy wants to shoot a 600 grain arrow, 650 grain arrow,
if it'll come out of his bow good,
and he can send it,
shoot it, man.
And he can, he's going to lose major distance, but some guys ain't out there for distance.
No,
so that's where I'm saying it circles back. If that is what's jiving your monkey.
Yeah. That's good. I've never heard that one before. That's monkey jiving.
Then do it.
Yeah.
Then do it. If it's within the realm.
Yeah.
I'm not, once again, I feel like I need to reiterate the fact that there is some things that are too far out of the realm that I'm not agreeing with. But if it's within the realm and it's working for you,
if it'll tune,
then shoot it.
Yeah. If it'll tune.
And there's exceptions still to the rule. If you're going after Cape Buffalo,
bring a gun.
Yeah. If you're going after Cape Buffalo and you can only pull 45 to 50 pounds,
yeah, you better bring a gun.
You need to think about that.
Yeah, you better not go after Cape Buffalo.
You better get your body and shoulders in shape, because if I'm going after Cape Buffalo, I may try to creep up to 90 pounds. Why would you do that, Laythan? Because I want to hit him for all it's worth.
Yeah, you want to succeed.
I do. In that scenario, I'd want the heaviest arrow in this realm, the heaviest arrow that I could push to the greatest speed that keeps that KE and momentum high.
Cause the most devastation when you hit that target.
But if I cross that line with the arrow weight and the kinetic energy starts falling off because the arrow's getting so slow, then I'm going to hold right there at that magic X.
And that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. That's why Josh Eblin and Laythan Musgrave are right. And no, everybody, when I say that, I'm joking.
That's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's in good fun. There's so many people so much smarter than us. But at the end of the day, come in and ask.
Yeah.
We'll give you our best unbiased opinion of what would work the best for you.
And there's tons of products too, guys. I mean, you don't have to be, you can pick and choose. These guys here are going to hook you up.
Yeah.
They're going to get you shooting straight, get your bow doing what it needs to be doing. And you need to be doing that soon because deer season is fast approaching.
It's coming quick.
Yeah.
Man, the beans are growing. Pray for rain. Farmers need some rain. But and the deer hunters want rain.
Yeah, we want some rain.
Because we want those beans to be big and lush.
We do, because they provide ample amounts of protein.
Protein, calcium. All those minerals, little B12.
And any farmers out there that need any, get rid of any of their bean
eaters.
Yeah, the little bean eaters. Give us a call. We'll help you out there.
Thin them. Yeah. We'll come thin them out. But
we'll call your deer.
Well, I want to leave it with this. If you've been in on the heavy, light, mechanical, fixed, whatever argument, opinion,
whatever
out there
you like.
I fully believe at the end of the day, the right answer is that it must work the best for you.
Yeah.
Must work the best for you and your situation, your scenario, and the game that you're after. So that being said, I don't have much more to say about it. I hate it. We had a big glitch in the center. Maybe Wes will come back. I don't want it to glitch for Wes, but I'm trying to figure out why it's doing it for us. But anyway.
It did.
It did.
But we survived. And
it was like
it was it's a remix.
We're back. No, we're there.
Then me laughing, cutting out in the background.
Are we? Are we? Yeah. So if you stuck with us through that, bless your little heart.
Thank you. You guys are true.
Well, it's 7:30 something, so let's sign
home.
off. We love you all.
Yeah.
We're sorry about the glitch. One day the technology world will catch up with itself, and maybe we won't have that, or we'll figure out why it's doing that. We won't allow it to happen. Pick a good broadhead, pick a good arrow, pick a good bow, practice and shoot, and find the system that works best for you. And we could take this whole heavy light debate and just pitch it out the door.
We can take it outside.
We can take this outside, can't we?
Yeah.
And that being said, we're going to shut this down and take ourselves outside. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Remember, this is brought to you by what I say, H2O.
Yeah.
Because it's hot, and Ultra Products, and Icon Foam and Gutter for all your foam and gutter needs. Give them a call. Go back to the beginning and find the number. We love. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.